So, good evening. It is October 23rd. It is 5:33 PM, and this is the regular meeting of the Rockport Planning Board. This board consists of up to 7 members, resident volunteers appointed by the Select Board to review land use applications, changes to zoning, and conduct other duties prescribed in the ordinances of the town and laws of the state. So at 5:33, I'm calling this meeting to order. We have at least 4 members to constitute a quorum. First item on our agenda is to take any public comments on non-agenda items. Seeing no members of the public in attendance, I'll close the public comment on non-agenda. The second item on our agenda is to approve the minutes from September 25 meeting, regular meeting. I've made some slight edits to those minutes. They're up on SharePoint. I trust everybody had an opportunity to look at them and has made changes. Does anyone want to highlight anything for discussion in the minutes?
Nothing substantive.
Nothing substantive? Okay, good qualification. Rob, Peter, Jen? Okay with the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Before you do that, Jeff,
Sorry.
Rob, you put a comment in there, it's just 4. So it's
Yeah,
on,
it said,
and Jeff, I'm plugged
The
in.
number
if you
4 or
want.
the letter 4? I
The
mean,
number
the-
4.
the word
yeah,
4.
it said there are 2 options available. One, to install larger lights, as I just
Mhm.
thought we needed to say.
4 larger lights?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that
Oh, I
what?
see.
There's another comment there was like a half thought somewhere in there. What is it? So the goal is to be the local place for residents and visitors. I think it's just like a,
Yeah, that's what they
but
said.
just like,
That's what they typed in,
do
but
we need that in?
it can stay, it can go. That's what they said, but,
I'll just lose it.
so get rid of that last sentence, the goal.
Yeah.
Does anybody have an issue with that?
No. Doesn't seem so.
Those are the only 2.
Okay, so any other discussion on this? Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes as edited here from the September 25 meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Jan. Seconded by Peter. Further discussion? All those in favor, approving? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0. Thank you. Similarly, to review the findings and facts of conclusions of law of the site plan revision for said lighting revision from Mid-Coast Recreation Center. We had those to review this week as well. Again, I trust everybody has had a chance to review these and has made edits in the document. I know I saw Tom's there. I had very few. Glad that they were brief. I think it covered, for my part, what I wanted to see. Does anyone want to discuss any of the particulars here? No? Peter? Jan?
No.
Tom, anything
I'd
extra?
say again, there's nothing substantive.
Right. So I think as edited, they appeared good to me, and I looked at them just prior to coming here. Maybe I'd like to make a motion to approve the findings of fact and conclusions of law site plan revision for the project at tax map 25 and lot 101 and 101-100 presented, was it last month?
Yes.
Last month at the planning board meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Tom. Any second? Peter? Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5, 0, 0. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a bylaws review for this planning board. Add a provision to allow the chair to sign findings and facts on behalf of the planning board. I should actually back up and say, can I get a motion to
I was about to.
authorize the chair to sign on behalf of the board the findings and facts that we just reviewed?
So moved.
Thank you, Jan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Tom, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Okay. So this bylaws review is, I think, Orion, to eliminate the need for the motion
Yes,
and second, what we just did,
right.
Correct.
right? Is there a text you can pull up that
Yep.
is the actual
Text
change?
is in there.
Yeah, I just wanted to pull them up, pull it up on the screen from the
Right here.
admin doc. So this makes it such that after approving the findings of facts, everything else is the same, correct? And this just removes the need to nominate the chair.
Correct. So that last
sign
motion,
where it
that
says
last
chair
motion that
signs.
we just made,
Yeah,
we don't have to do that anymore.
yep.
If this gets included in the,
I did leave a comment on there.
yeah, the shall or may.
Yeah, I
whichever.
think the shall is unnecessarily strong.
Mm.
We could just say may.
You don't think?
We could just say
Does,
may.
does that,
Does that, would that change anything?
well, by may, you're no longer requiring it. Shall require something.
That's what
May
I'm
is-
saying.
Yep.
So we don't need to require the chair, but the chair can do it. And
So
you
I think-
still don't need the motion.
The funny thing is I mean, the way you prepare the document, at least for signature, it says chair on it, so it's assumed the chair will sign and be the only one who signs. But has anyone other than chair ever signed that on behalf of the board?
Nope. If the chair wasn't able to, then it'd be the vice chair in that
Right.
sense, but the bylaws kind of govern in the absence of the chair, the vice chair can serve in that capacity. And also, if neither are capable, the select board, or the planning board can vote a temporary person in. So if you have just chair, you're fine and covered on that front.
Yeah.
The shall or the may, I don't know, we have a lot of conversation about it, but I
It may
feel,
not make a difference.
might not make a difference, but I'd feel more comfortable with the shall, because it's a thing that you gotta do, and then we don't have to debate it, it's done.
Okay, you
If
can
you
blow
leave-
up my comment.
Okay. Will do.
I mean, you can make it more wordy by saying the chair or the chair's designee, and you allow someone else to do it, or if the
I
chair
think the more words you have, the more
goes
trouble you get
I know,
into.
exactly, so I think this is
I think it's good,
the plainest, to the point one,
yes,
yeah.
I agree.
Were there any other edits in here that we had to review? It's just in that paragraph, right?
Yeah, it's just in that paragraph.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That was, so that was the last time, that the planning board approved it, was August 21st. Now that it'll just get erased and reflect today. That was okay.
So this has to go to the select board.
Yeah, so that issue that we kind of found was like in that interim bit of, y'all approved the last ones, it was gonna go to them, but then we were like, should we do this? So we pulled it back,
Yeah,
so. All right,
okay.
So this is really just clarifying, instead of having everybody on the planning board have to sign the findings of fact, the chair can just do it.
so that last motion that we did, that we always do on the findings of facts, we forgot the last time, but, in talking with the attorney, we're okay, cause we have like this repetition that we do it. But by putting it in the bylaws, we cover ourselves, so we don't have to worry about it. Cause normally, like, if you don't vote to say, have the chair sign, then technically the entire planning board should sign it,
Okay,
but
so it's really just administrative.
it's just administrative. Yep.
It's one less motion we have to make.
Well, and we already formally approve the
Yep.
findings of fact, so
Right.
it is just a formality, as Ryan says.
Right. Any other discussion on this formality? Is there a motion? Do we have to do a
Yeah.
motion to this?
If you could,
Yeah, can we do a motion? Is there a motion to,
I move we amend the bylaws to allow the chair to sign automatically any findings of fact.
okay, is there a
I'll
second?
second that.
Thank you, Tom. Motion from Jan, second from Tom. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is, we're combining the meetings for November and December, which is a regular thing done each year, when we don't have a lot of business at that time. So, we had a application come in that we then didn't do last week. Is that coming up? Is
So that one
on the
was just
docket?
what is it called, pre-application
Okay.
for Granite Way. They got caught up, we're having this scam issue going on.
Yeah.
And he got very confused with it, and it's still going on. Somebody, it scalped our website, and it has this, our findings of facts for MRC and Andrew Hedrich of Garley Dorsey. He got an email saying, hey, you need to pay $5,000 before you come here. And he's like, all right, it's happening again. So, like, all right, I'll send it to the attorney, send it to IT, see what can happen. But if they're scalping our website, there's nothing we can really do. I think it's an AI thing that's just going and pulling stuff. But, so anyway, the Granite Way subdivision, they got spooked by it because they weren't expecting a $5,000 bill to come before you. Also, they pushed it, but in the meantime, something else has come up. They're still going to proceed with that. So you'll see it at some point. I just don't know when. But another project came up that's a little more financially attainable for them that they're going to look at. So that's what's happening on that front.
So that was to lead into the question of, are there things that you foresee being on the
This
next
meeting?
meeting? That'll be December 11th?
Potentially, but I can't. I don't know.
Okay,
100%.
just potential at this point, yeah, until they're announced.
Yep. So this will be advertised. I'll send it to the people I've been talking to.
Yep.
Let them know the cutoff dates, and then we'll see.
Okay. In that this would be a combined and out of our regular pattern, do the members who are here today think that December 11 is a viable date?
I won't be able to come.
You won't be available.
My calendar was blank that day, so I
Okay.
put something in.
Tom is available. Peter?
I'm available.
Okay, thanks. Rob? I'm gonna check myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have at least 4 people who are here, that could, at least at the moment.
Where's Sam? Is he okay?
I didn't see him personally. He seems like he's,
He's okay. We won't. We'll
It's the
talk
kind,
about
it's
it
the kind of
afterwards.
thing that when you get it corrected, you're immediately fine.
yeah.
And before you get it corrected, you can be thrown against the wall in pain at the drop of a hat.
He did show up here tonight, so he
Yeah.
was here and he just had to get in.
Oh, but Sam did say that works for him too.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna guess and pray, if there is such a thing, that he gets it fixed by December 11th, that's for sure. It's not something he'll just like go.
We don't have to belabor Sam's health issues in this meeting. Okay, so, great. December 11, we're on. Next item is a comprehensive plan as a recurring item. It's just in there every meeting. The reason it's there is that right now there is a comprehensive plan implementation task force. I've said this before, but they're working on a number of measures that were in the comprehensive plan to be distributed to various boards, task force committees. And we are one who is going to see a good number of them, I would presume. And I've asked Jan if he could, since he was at the last
Yeah.
task force meeting, John Veman was as well, if Jan could update us on what looks like it might be coming and like what the sort of measures that we might
Well,
be doing here.
we've been, the last few weeks, we've been going through, as you know, the comprehensive plan makes about 150 odd suggestions, in maybe a dozen different areas, like natural resources, water, marine resources, and climate change and so forth. And the people who wrote the plan went through and took each of the tasks and gave it a time frame, anywhere from 0 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, or 10 years and ongoing, longer, and gave each assignment each task an assignment of who should be in charge of it. But they put down either a couple of committees, or they put down staff members, or they put down departments, public works, or so forth. We are going through 3 or 4 main topic areas every Friday and assigning one particular entity, either a committee or a staff position or a department, as the primary person responsible, primary entity responsible for that task. When we have done all of that, which should only take us, I think, maybe 2 meetings, I'm not sure how much we're gonna get through tomorrow, but maybe 2 meetings. We will notify all the committees of the goals that they have been given priority to and what the timeframes are. We're doing a spreadsheet on that to make it easier to see who's getting overloaded and who isn't getting overloaded. We will then meet individually with a representative, probably the chair, and maybe select board liaison for each of the committees to go over, see their understanding. They've had these for a couple of weeks, to see their understanding of what they think their responsibilities are, how long they think it will take them to do things, whether or not they need other help, or whether they think it's a total mistake to do, whatever they think. Then the task force will be keeping track. We have a large matrix that our chair developed, which has timeframes that we think as a task force for each of the tasks, and what the committees are being assigned and what they think. And we will develop a measurement system that is with the individual committees. How will we know when something's done? How will we know when it's half done, or whatever, if it's a measurable thing or a gut feeling thing? Have them report back to us at regular intervals, probably month, 2 months. Some things may take longer, some things less. That'll all have to be worked out. And then it will be the task force's job to analyze that, put it into common sense, as our president would say, and ship it to or deliver it to the select board as their briefing on a regular basis, whether it's semi-annual or annually. We don't know yet, because it depends on, some things can be done soon, some things are ongoing processes that will last forever. And so we're just developing the reporting method so that we know that the town will be able to track that all of these goals are in process. So that's basically where we are. It's a good group, and we think we can, we've got our arms around our process, and now all we have to do is finish our part of the process, bring all the other committees in, and show them, teach them, help them with whatever it is we want them to do. So it's working. It's working. It's a good comprehensive plan, and it's going to be paid attention to.
John, go ahead.
That was great, Jen, did a good job. I just would add that part of our goal is.
Jeff's gonna ask you to stand up, talk to a
I'm
mic.
gonna ask you to stand, yeah.
Yeah, you got to go someplace where there's a microphone, John.
Yeah.
I would just add that part of our goal is ultimately to have each of the primary committees participate in the scheduling. You know, the plan says one thing, but is that realistic? You know, now that, you know, we've got it all as a document. And then when they have something that, say, the goal is to complete it in the next 12 months, it'll be part of the next 12 months' work plan for that committee.
Right.
So with the planning board, most of the work is, of course, ordinance work. You know, go back through the ordinance for this particular issue. Most of it has to do with housing, of course. And just review and see if it needs to be updated, et cetera, et cetera. Some of that may be fairly easy in terms of the ordinance. It's not that complicated. So you may have Jeff and Jen, who are both on the task force, may look at it and say, that's realistic to think we can do that within the next 12 months. Some of it may be deeper dive, and we say, let's put that out in year 2 or 3. And it mostly depends on other parts of the plan. Like, first we have to change an ordinance before we can go ahead and, start pushing economic development in a particular growth zone in town. Or maybe the growth zone, or not the growth zone, but where the growth zone is, there may be a zoning issue there that we need to focus on, to support the plan. So it's really the task force, the implementation task force is essentially about making sure the plan doesn't just sit on the shelf and gather dust.
Right.
That the committees are all engaged and, trying to get towards completion of whatever the vision is that the plan mapped out.
One of the things that I've been noticing as I've been going through is that while the planning board has a responsibility in a lot of areas, in fact, if you look at the task, somebody has to do that task and then propose a change in an ordinance, and then the planning board takes over and does the change in the ordinance or says why it can't do it. So it's not like we have to figure out how to do housing. We have to take what, in that case, would be the Economic Development Committee, their suggestions for how we can improve housing and enact that kind of thing. So there's going to be plenty of work for us to do, but a lot of what we do is going to depend on other committees acting first and getting most of the work done, and then us just putting it into law and putting it up before the voters. I think the committee that's going to see the toughest time is going to be the one that has to deal with climate change, because that just affects all parts of town all the time. And there's a great number of tasks. And what will be interesting is to see the negotiations among committees and the select board and among the committees and the select board and Orion's office as to how these things can be meted out in a way that is, if not fair, at least equitable in terms of what the realistic workloads are going to be.
Yeah, and then I would just add, as far as timing goes, typically, we finalize the committee work plans before we move into the budget every year. So any kind of a report or update to the select board, I anticipate would probably be done about that time, where we say, okay, planning board's working on this for the next 12 months, and this group over here is working on this. And if it affects the budget, then we need to make
At
sure.
what point in the calendar now is that going to happen?
Which part?
Well, where it actually goes to the budget committee, where we have to get involved. Where's the task force
Yeah,
going to get involved?
this year is going to be a transition year.
Yeah.
I don't think, the budget process is already kind of underway because we're trying to get way out in front.
Yep.
No, not way out in front, but more out in front than we have been historically.
Mm-hmm.
But typically the budget cycle, if it's on its normal schedule, it starts to sort of come together in Megan's world, what about February, January? February,
Yeah.
something like that?
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
It's got to be pretty much done and ready for voters by the June meeting. So you can back up from there, basically 12 weeks.
Right.
That budget's got to be pretty much done in order for the planning board, or the select board to approve it for the town warrant.
And of course, everything that's going to be suggested, the vast majority of those things will cost money to do. And so everything is income outgo related as well. So things may be apportioned out more like capital improvement plans, rather than say, okay, by February 1st, this is going to be done. Maybe we can only have the money by February 1st. So all
What
of
are
this is
most of
contingent.
the climate change initiatives? What timeline do they fall under?
Well, every goal fits into one of 4 boxes. What's called immediate, which means less than 5 years. Mid-level, mid-range, which means 5 to 10 years. ongoing, which means 10 years plus. So there will be processes that will have to happen forever. Every year, you're going to have to look at things, take statistics and so forth, and a committee will be responsible for telling the select board what's going on in that area for all time's sake. And then a category that is unfortunately too small right now that says, done. We're done with it. We have implemented, the planning board has implemented several things that are, we are done. We've done that part. So everything falls into these ranges. The vast majority of things either seem to be, based on the writers of the comprehensive plan, either immediate or ongoing, with very few things in the 5 to 10 year bracket. That may not be realistic for human beings to accomplish. So some things may be put off. Part of this is a learning process and figuring out, well, what are the realistic timeframes for this? What can we actually do in the meantime?
For instance, the climate change section of the comprehensive plan is 37 goals. 31 of them are immediate.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah, it
Yeah.
should be a category of
Yes.
10 years ago.
Right, and it's things like implement bike and pedestrian infrastructure to increase transportation is an immediate goal, and that would be great if it was happening immediately, but that's a hard one to just say immediately go. Like, that requires money, it requires organization, it requires a study, it requires planning changes. So I think it's up to us to determine what the step is, up to the task force to determine what the step is that's the immediate step, and the select board to basically say, go for this portion of it.
Yeah.
Because you're not just going to release everybody to do everything under the sun in
Well,
this
no,
document.
because there's a
no
limited
money.
budget. There's no money.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting because this planning board is going to, I think, encounter these things in different ways. Like, a lot of them are going to come through Orion's office as things he's worked on that he wants to then work into the ordinance or map changes, things like that. There are gonna be other things that I think John is then going to discuss with the select board and then come to us and say, we need to workshop these things in this group. So there's gonna be different ways that this group is going to be tasked to make these kinds of changes. And I think our role as a quasi-judicial group is going to be augmented, and we're going to have to start, using our creative brain to see like how this thing gets done.
Right. Right. All of a sudden, there's gonna be a lot more cross-town operations.
Yeah.
Things that involve several committees working together that have not talked before. It's gonna change the way the town operates.
Yeah.
With any luck, it will. Put us on a better footing.
Is there precedent for, do you know, John or Orion, of the comprehensive plan being something that every town is tasked to produce, having an implementation
I think this
organization?
is the first time Rockport's ever had it.
Okay.
I've got to imagine in other towns, they've got variations on the theme.
Yeah, they do. They have variations. So the state encourages you to. They don't require it, but if you have zoning, then you're required to have a comp plan. So the theory is if you get a committee, you're more likely to get it implemented. And most towns don't have staff capable of doing it.
Right.
Yeah, and the last time we did a plan was 2004.
Yes.
And those of us who have, enjoyed it as nighttime reading, I've gone through it numerous times over the years, and I think it's got some very positive aspects to it, but as far as, very specific goals, I think compared to the one we've got now, it's like a totally different animal from what we had before. I mean, we've got something that's, got very specific, actionable goals in it, and I think that's great.
Yep.
That's great. So part of what we do, what we're doing with the task force is also trying to look a little more critically at, the language that's there and make sure it's can be actionable as opposed to just a wish. make the town more sustainable for climate change. Well, what the heck does that really mean? You know, in terms of what do we have to do in the next 12 months? What do we have to do in the next 5 years? And then you look at things like the most recent Harbor Strategic Plan, which just was finalized. If you've looked at that, it's got some really nice ideas in it. It's very expensive, but, you know, if we want to really make protect our harbor as a resource for the town, as an asset, it's clear we've got to do some things. And there are very specific things in there that I think will not only improve the quality, not only improve the resiliency of the harbor area, but actually enhance the quality of life here in Rockport quite a bit, so. And I don't think it requires much in the way of zoning, planning board involvement. There's nothing really in that
The
plan.
climate?
Yeah, no, the harbor plan,
No,
Oh, no.
yeah, that's probably all
that's just money.
DEP
That's
permits
just money.
and stuff like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's just money.
It's just money.
Just money. No worries.
No, the architects that presented that plan
Yeah.
did a beautiful job. We now have marching orders. We now have acceptance of what's needed. It's no longer sitting around saying, what should we do? Here's what we should do.
Yeah,
Now it's
and-
a question of how do you
and
get to.
certain things, like we may have, we may have like something as a goal where one committee needs to come up essentially with the plan of what they want to do first, second, third. And in order for them to accomplish their first, second, or third, the planning board needs to look at the ordinance to make sure the language will support what they want to do. And then out of nowhere, well, not nowhere, but because of the quality of work that Orion does in writing grant applications, we may have a $5-10 million grant that falls into our lap. And then we're like, okay, guys, we got to move really fast because we've got an opportunity here. So, things like that could happen, which would be good problems to have.
Yep,
So,
Great problems.
great problems.
great problem.
Well, having those plans makes it easier to apply for grants.
Yes.
Yes, yeah,
Opens up the world for us,
Yeah.
much more.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's my report.
All right, thank you, Jan. Thank you, John. Other business yearly training workshop to schedule.
Yeah, so I got an update on that. I was talking with Phil, and he said the state's actually gonna be amending that provision to take out the municipal portion of it, so that the municipality can't do its own training. And I think it's because they want to make sure that the state is doing the training. So more to come, but I still think we should do yearly trainings with our own legal counsel. So we'll do that in a mix of other things.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll stay tuned.
So I don't know exactly how they're gonna do the requirement portion, if it's like, you show me your credits or whatever. So that detail hasn't come out yet, but
Training for whom?
the state, so the LD 1829.
Okay.
Invite the zoning board to those legal updates so we can take advantage of that as well.
Sure, I will. Okay.
I
LD
noticed
18.
a couple things.
Yeah, he didn't go to the microphone. He didn't want that to be heard. LD 1829 made requirements that the planning board had to have yearly training.
Okay.
And then it said how, and it said state training, a COG, which is Midcoast Council of Governments, or municipal. So I would prefer the municipal, but that's just me.
Well, Tuesday, I'm going through a 4-hour Zoom training
I saw that for
for
Maine
planning
municipal.
boards and for
Yes.
planning
Yeah, I
boards,
saw that.
zoning boards of appeal. I've downloaded all the materials, all the slide decks and so forth. And I'm looking at at their planning board manual kind of thing. But if that is good,
Yeah.
maybe we just do that.
Well, yeah, that would constitute as the count. I just don't know how they're gonna regulate it yet.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
you can do
Yeah,
those.
I'll report back next meeting on how that was.
Perfect.
Is anybody else taking it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I guess I have to stay away for the whole 4 hours.
Who's putting that on, Jan?
Maine
Maine Municipal Association.
Yeah, I've gotten, those are good. Those are good. Those,
Materials are good, yeah.
the ones I've gone through, those are well worth your time. So if you haven't gone to any of them, especially maybe Peter, have you gone to those when you were in New Hampshire? Yeah, they're well worth your time. And you can do them from home.
Well, you can go to Augusta,
Yeah.
or you can do it over Zoom.
Yeah, it's nice to go to Augusta to have those.
The only decent
Now, I've been to
restaurant-
several of them.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for Board of Assessment Review, I've gone like 2 or 3 times.
Uh-huh. They put on good food?
Yeah, food is okay.
Food is okay.
Yeah,
That's
the
how we
company
get-
is
that's-
stellar.
that- yeah,
Talking food.
I don't drive an hour anymore for okay food.
Okay, so that's all
That's not all.
Not all?
No. Recurring business, other business. You didn't ask for other business.
Is there any, would anyone like to add anything to our agenda?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
I've got a couple of things. One is that I've seen a disturbing number of these butt-ugly trailers being have you seen Bully Box?
Yeah,
Oh, the bully
And
box.
main
thing?
trailer? People, they're garishly painted. They're plopped down in somebody's yard or a field. And I don't know that there's any control over those or not. I haven't talked to Andrew, but it seems to me that people should not be able to like order one of those and just have it as a permanent structure on their property.
They're not permanent.
They might as well be.
Well, yeah,
Well, could they be considered advertising?
well, I don't know, but I can look into it, but yeah, I'm familiar with Bully Box and a few others, but, the concept of them is they come in, they drop down, you fill them up, and it's a storage container,
Yeah,
and
well,
then they take it away.
after
But
a year, is it permanent?
Yeah, so that's what, I'll ask Andrew.
Okay. And
Call-
that's one thing.
yeah.
That's
Sounds like
one
you have
thing.
a draft ordinance amendment in your future.
I just don't think that, that as a business concept, I went to Augusta this past week and passed one of those places, and these storage units, I mean, they've got these things stockpiled, so they are intending to flood the landscape with them, Do you need a shed for the next 5 years? Hey, we've got the solution for you. And we're gonna see these things all over our neighborhoods, and they're ugly. They're ugly,
They are.
trashy. So that's one thing. The other thing is,
Well, Tom, if it's, the reason I was talking about advertising, if it's got a big logo on it, and it's parked in a residential area, it's essentially like a billboard. You could almost.
I don't know about going down that road right now, but,
Really?
yeah, I'm gonna look into it, but, yeah, I've been seeing them pop up. I didn't know that you've noticed a few staying a little longer than,
oh, yeah, they're permanent part of the landscape now. There's a nice main trailer, yellow with red lettering, in the backfield of Down East, or Seasons Down East. So if you take a ride down South Street, where it intersects with Meadow Street, you're treated to this view of this ugly trailer sitting out in the field. And it's been there for months and months.
what's the
I
name on it?
wonder how they rent them.
What's the name on it?
Main trailer. And then if you come down Warrenton Street on your way from the Samoset, and where it intersects with Commercial Street, there's a private residence that has installed a lovely Bully Box in his yard. And I think that these things are going to proliferate based on the stores that I've seen at the commercial establishments who lease these things or rent
So
them.
do you think the issue is with the shipping containers that have graphics and advertising or words on the side, or it's all as a category
No,
shipping
I think
containers.
there should be limits on how long they're allowed. I mean, I had a container come to my house for a week. It was a storage container when I moved from one place to the next, and Knowlton Moving and Storage provided, or maybe it was the other place on Route 90, one of them provided one of these containers because I had rented it on their property. And it was, they had delivered it, we filled it up, they took it back, took it away. And when I moved, they brought it, put it in my driveway, and we emptied it, and they took it away. But it didn't stay there for 6 months.
So the issue is where they're semi-permanent, where they don't,
Yeah, people are, I think they're people,
using it as a backyard shed.
people are hoarders.
Yeah.
They've got, and they've got all this, I include myself, but we've got all this stuff and no place to put it. So that's, anyway, that's one issue.
Jeff,
Peter, go ahead.
you know, if you have a shed in your backyard, you have to pull a permit.
Yes.
So if
Yeah,
you
I
have
have to
one,
pull a
if
permit
you have
for
one
my
of these
shed.
temporary, quote-unquote temporary, do you have to pull a permit?
Well, for a temporary, if it's like it's just a storage container, it's supposed to come, you fill it up, it goes. So under that pretense, no, but if it's staying for a long period of time, you probably do need a permit. So there's some stuff here that I'll
Yeah,
talk about.
I think what Tom's saying is valid, that's what, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's not-
actually, yeah, as I'm looking at Bully Box, it is.
Now, if it's a construction site, active construction site, and they need
It's,
something there.
it's related to the building
it's-
permit
if
on the
it-
construction site?
Right, that's separate, but if it's a residence using it
That's
as
something
a-
different.
Yep,
Right, I agree.
so.
Yeah.
I'll talk with Andrew.
Okay. The second thing is, I notice, I had a few discussions with Andrew over the past couple of weeks, and about some neighborhood issues. But I note, he said, there's nothing, and I talked to Orion about it too. And we have nothing regulating short-term rentals. And I know we've discussed this in the past, but I remain very concerned about it because with this LD 2003 that encourages the construction of accessory dwelling units and puts almost no restrictions, in fact, removes restrictions for homeowners and property owners to produce these things. There's nothing to prevent their being used as short-term
Yes,
rental units.
well, we have it in our ordinance. They're not, in Rockport, they can't use an accessory dwelling unit as a short-term rental.
They
That's in the-
cannot?
They cannot. So your concern is, I think it's a good one, but we've already addressed that, right, Ryan?
Oh, hold on. I know that's what you're gonna say. Let me pull this
Yeah.
up.
I'm almost positive it's in the ordinance. that-
Okay, but someone, I know we had at the Knox County Board of Assessment and Review, we had a case where some property owner was concerned that the assessor's agent had overassessed a quote shed that they had. Well, this shed, you should have seen it. I would have lived in it. It was beautiful. It had, beautiful
Better than
modern
a bully
windows,
box?
doors. It had heat, electricity. I don't know if it had running water and a commode, but, it was, so the assessor's agent characterized it not as a shed, but as a bunkhouse. And I see the possibility of that happening too. I notice, and the people shall remain nameless, but I have seen a steady flow of short-term rental renters in my neighborhood coming along. And I remain concerned about all these people parking in the street because, oh, excuse me, we're only renting out a bedroom.
Yep.
Or we've got a shed, but they're not in a tent and they're just staying in it temporarily. They come into the house if they need to take a shower.
Yep.
I don't think we should be allowing stuff like that. And I went over Rockland's ordinance, Rockland has a fairly comprehensive ordinance on short-term rentals. And I think we would do well to take a look at it and see whether that some of those would make sense for Rockport.
Following up, John, on what you said and reading through 815 accessory dwelling units, it doesn't, we don't have a restriction in there about short-term rental.
I could have sworn we,
I think in
Yeah, I don't
a
think we-
past
I don't think we
proposal
did.
for short-term rental, I think we did say something
not?
along the
What?
lines of ADUs in some capacity, but we would have to have some regulatory item to track short-term rentals, which we don't have. So it'd be pretty hard to regulate that in this ordinance right now. Does that make sense? So like, if it's a short-term rental, we'd have to have some regulatory measure that you can't do it. If we say it here, we can't do it, we'd have to have a way to track it.
The only thing we have in regard to short-term rentals, as far as I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, in our ordinance is a definition for what they are.
Yes.
yeah.
that's
I don't
it.
think we had anything.
That's as
That's
far
it.
as it
No,
goes.
I think, go to that, that's where it is. Go to that
Maybe
definition.
it's there. Let's check.
Yeah, it's in the definitions, that's where it is. I know,
We had discussed the regulating of short-term rentals in ADUs that were not owner occupied, or on parcels that weren't owner occupied. But we didn't. We actually, we recommended it to the select board and the select board didn't take it up. So that's where it went.
And the Rockland ordinance really deals with that very thoroughly about owner-occupied, non-owner occupied.
Yep.
Permits, regulating it, under what conditions, you can allow parking, or what do you have to have in the way of parking? How long can this go on, so forth.
Yeah, there's a whole page here of their ordinances.
They have a couple
and things.
pages,
They have-
several
they have a lot of
pages,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, Rockland, it's easy to find.
how did that not get in here?
Yeah, we don't have anything like that.
We don't have it. I thought we put it up and it failed.
No, I
failed
thought
at
we
the,
put it up
ballot.
and it did go through, but it was.
You were
very-
on this, you were on this board when we approved and recommended the change to the select board, which you were not yet part of. And the select board tabled it and just did not want to discuss it. So it just died.
Really?
Yeah. They kicked it off for a couple months, couple meetings, and then just said, we're not going to discuss this.
Well, we need to revisit that, I think.
But when was there that vote? Was it 2022 or something? About short-term rentals?
There was an ordinance that was voted on and it was voted down.
Oh, it was a specific ordinance.
Yes.
So it's not. Okay.
Okay,
So
so
I guess theoretically, it's not like we voted on the select board doing any type of regulation of short-term rentals. It was just a specific ordinance that. So if in theory we could discuss this further, and it's not a non-starter because. the
No, yeah,
temporary
y'all
vote-
can keep talking about it. Y'all can keep proposing it if you want, but
Well, I
I
think
don't
that
know what
there's,
appetite they have.
Right.
the history is being written about that ordinance vote, and certain members of the select board bring this up as the town has spoken and the town wants no regulation on short-term rentals, which I feel is a bit disingenuous. I feel that's not actually what
No, you're
happened
right.
with that vote. There were a lot of
There
people
are a lot
who
of
I
shades
knew.
of gray on that.
Exactly, Peter. There were a lot of people who I knew who felt like there was one part of that ordinance that was just overreach, and they didn't want it to go that far, but they weren't categorically opposed to short-term rental regulations. So, is there a way of getting a copy of that ordinance that didn't pass the voters?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I
I,
guess-
You know
yeah,
when it
it's-
was, give me a time.
it's like
frame.
2021 or something,
Yeah,
or
it was
2020?
2021,
At
2021,
the
somewhere in
same
there.
time as
I'll
LD
find it.
2003 was
It
being
was
discussed.
before that.
Was it really
It was
before that?
by a year or two.
Yeah, there's a little nuance. It's not black and white.
Yeah, when people vote in majority, it's not necessarily they all have the same opinion, that they all say.
And the thing
"We don't
is,
like
I think
regulation."
I've seen some kickback at select board meetings. I think a lot of people don't want them going away per se, which is fine, but to say that you can't implement some regulations is kind of foolhardy. And some of the stuff Tom brought up, just in terms of parking and some of those things, just basic, makes a lot of sense, so.
Yeah, I mean, this issue isn't going away. Camden has a short-term rental ordinance. Rockland has a short-term rental ordinance. I think Belfast has a short-term rental ordinance. Friendship is discussing one right now, a short-term rental ordinance. We don't.
We don't.
We have no way of tracking it. We have no registration. We only have a definition of what a short-term rental is in our ordinance, and that's it.
You think
So-
that was June 21?
Sounds about right. Anything else in our other business, Tom? I like it.
Well, just as a for instance, dog licenses are not public information.
What?
You cannot go and to the town office and find out if a dog that you have observed running loose, whether that dog is licensed or not. And yet, the town clerk has an obligation, according to ordinance or state law, I think, to report unlicensed dogs to the animal control officer.
How?
And the reason
How
for
are
that
you-
is that names and addresses are associated with dog licenses. And yet, we can look at the tax bills and find out how much people are paying in taxes, what their house is assessed for, who resides at that residence. We can find all that out.
Yeah.
And you go to Fast People Search and find out phone numbers and provenance of the family and all that. But dog licenses, no, that's private information. Anyway, I don't think that's for the planning board.
Probably not.
It's definitely other.
Not yet. Not yet. Okay, would anyone like to propose a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thanks, Jan. Second? Peter, thank you. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0. And then
Under an hour.
6:20, I'm gonna say 6:26, we're adjourned.
Nice job, Jeff.
Actually.